Let's go to Kenneth out in East Point. Kenneth, you're on the Morning Woodward Show. What do you got for us, buddy?
And you're not going to like what I have to say, Adam, but I'm just going to say it. I'm sick of your piss-poor attitude, and I'm going to tell you why. Looking at the schedule here, hey, you listen here. I'm in charge right now. I'm on the air. Dolphins, we're going to be swimming in their seas defeating them. Green Bay Packers, never heard of Aaron Rodgers because he's unvaccinated. Justin Fields, go back to Ohio. Eli Manning doesn't even play for the New York Giants. We will lose to the Buffalo Bills, but then we'll be going to Trevor Lawrence's house and cutting his hair. The Vikings, the Lions kill Vikings. The Jets, we might lose to the Jets. Then we're going to beat the Panthers, the Bears, and we're going to beat Aaron Rodgers again. 10-7, baby. 10-7.
Kenneth, let me ask you this.
Yes.
How far do you live from the studio?
I live about 20 minutes away.
20 minutes?
And I'm not afraid of you.
All right, good. Well, I'm gonna offer you something. I want you to come down to the studio. All right, I want to buy you a coffee, and I want to have a conversation with you. Okay, is that cool?
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna say one more thing, and I know it's gonna be hurtful. Dan Campbell has better facial hair than you. I said it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure I could coach better than Dan Campbell, so I don't think that's saying much. So.
Yeah, you could coach these nuts because the Lions are going 10-7. I'm out.
10-7 in the playoff win, baby.
Oh God, that is. I look forward to him calling in every day.
I know.
And I know it's him, and I still can't help it but let him through. I love it. I love it. Great job. Let's go to Michael. Michael's been waiting patiently. Michael, you have a little different take, I believe, on Bogdanovich. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. I can't get over the last caller. I mean, that's exactly like the Kool-Aid that we talk about. My God. Over the cup of coffee, you guys can have a little psyche evaluation, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt.
But, yeah, that guy is full of it. I actually was calling up about the Pistons, but let's talk Lions first real quick. I was actually at the game. I bought my tickets like week 1. My buddy was out in Dallas. I was like, okay, cool. Get to go visit my buddy. Get to go to the Lions game. And, I'm sitting around and I'm talking to Cowboys fans. I'm kind of just trying to get a feel for how they feel about the Lions and kind of individual players. How does an outside perspective feel about Calvin Johnson? Because us Detroiters feel like he's the best ever. They say he's top 5. We all agree on Barry Sanders. But then it kind of came down to present day. And they said, yeah, man, there's no doubt that you guys just have bad luck. The refs are out to get you. And then what do you know? 3 plays later, Jamal Williams stumbled on the goal line right in front of me. So the guy just looks at me and starts laughing. I said, hey, you're seeing it firsthand what it's like to be a Lions fan. I mean, right there, set in stone. But really, Lions' focus here is, really looking forward. I'm kind of on the C.J. Stroud train just because of his size and stature and just ability to see over the offensive line. And, Bryce Young is obviously an amazing talent, but I kind of worry about his vision behind the pocket. Like you heard Tua even say, in week 2, I have to move around in order to kind of see through the line.
Yep.
And Bryce Young is pretty much the same size, if not smaller, I want to say, just from the look of it. I don't know the actual
It's probably 6 foot.
metric. Yeah, so I'm a little worried about Bryce Young there, but I will say what's attractive about bringing Bryce Young in possibly, we're all assuming he gets the number 1 pick at this point, is the connection that he has with Jameson Williams. I think that could be really, really interesting to take the top off the defense. And, kind of talking about Jameson Williams, I'm not sure his status is at this point. And honestly, do we even want him back?
1 month away. 1 month away, and we were actually getting to that in the second hour, but we can kind of touch on it now, which is I'm not sure the incentive of bringing a rookie who's 9 months off of ACL surgery, which is a huge operation, to a 1-5 football team who will likely be 1-9 by the time he gets back, maybe 2-8. I just don't see the reason, but you have to play him at the end of the day. I see him playing probably the last 4 games of the year, but they're going to take their time with him. Cooper Kupp took 10 months. Other notable, Adrian Peterson, I believe, was a little quicker than that, but still, 10 months is probably the consensus. So he's almost there. I'm not too concerned with his recovery, to be honest with you, but again, I'm more fed up right now with the idea of having to be patient. And I'm not sure how many buddies you have out in New York, but I have a few friends who live in New York, grew up in New York, who I used to work with when I was working remotely. And these guys are basically having the time of their lives right now One of them is a Giants fan who's supporting a 6-1 football team that he told me would be 3-14 going into the year. And then the other wasn't sure about Robert Saleh because he was a defensive-minded head coach, and this dude wanted an offensive-minded head coach. And what do you know? They're 5-2. Michael, I don't know why I have to be patient.
You don't, Adam. That's the thing. I mean, we don't have to be patient. I'm the same age as you. Our parents didn't have to be patient. I mean, we're going on 60-plus years, so Sheila can take that patience and shove it right up her F-150 ass. Let's get away from the kitty cats here and go to something a little bit more promising. The Pistons, I guess you could say. I watch every game. I'm tweeting live. Jeff and I interact on Twitter. I'm Mr. Detroit on Twitter, by the way, guys.
Oh, man. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Yeah, you too. I know
I know how you feel about Killian Hayes, by the way.
No, if I ever. I mean, let's be honest here. That was 3.5 games through, not 3 games, or 3.5 seasons through, not 3 games. So, Killian last night. I don't disagree actually about the putting him in the fourth quarter for defense because him and Duran really kind of set the energy to start the fourth quarter.
Right.
And that was great. But I was honestly convinced. I don't think we saw Killian really the entire second quarter. And most of the third, I was convinced at one point that that was it. He was out of the rotation last night. I was really convinced that Casey had seen enough. We saw us playing Cade at the 1 and Livers at the 2, and I actually really liked that lineup when it was out there. We were producing well. The ball was moving great. Everyone on the floor could kind of shoot. So I don't disagree with the Killian, but the bigger thing to me was taking out Duran. This guy was eating up the glass. You have Capella, who's a notorious rebounder. Okongwu was doing work down low. And then you just saw, like you talked about, those 6 offensive rebounds on the 12 missed shots in the fourth quarter. Nearly every single one of them were tap-outs by Capella or whatever it was. I mean, Stewart just looks like a baby compared to these guys.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that drives people nuts with Casey is some of these rotation decisions. Who's playing in the fourth quarter? Killian can't shoot if his life depended on it. I mean, that's a whole different problem. But with Duran, Duran is unbelievable. You basically got him for nothing. I'm not sure how Weaver made the trades and moves he made, but God bless his heart. Jalen Duran right now is arguably better and has been more impressive than Jaden Ivey. And Ivey, to me, outside of maybe Benedict Mathurin, has been the best rookie in the NBA so far, and Bencaro, which is saying something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from even the preseason when I'm watching Duran, it just screams, prime early Dwight Howard to me. I mean, he's just eating the glass. He makes an entire difference on the entire paint of the defense. I mean, he really gives me prime Dwight Howard vibes in his early days in Orlando. And when you're getting destroyed on the glass and your best rebounder is sitting on the bench, I just don't get the thought. It's not like we need Stewart out there shooting 6 threes a game either. Like, 3 max, man. What the Warriors do so well, and the reason that they're so successful, obviously they have the Splash Bros, but they all know who should be taking the shot when, right? Draymond can make 3. He's not great at them, and neither is Isaiah Stewart. Draymond can be wide open for 3, but he knows that this possession means more than him getting his shot. He knows that for the success of the team, he has to move the ball and get it to the right person at the right time for the right shot. When I see Isaiah Stewart taking a 3 with 15 seconds left in the shot clock and he's just trying to get his, it tells me that's part of the maturing in the team development and the growth is not only how you work together, but how you realize who you are yourself.
Absolutely.
And for Cade to be shooting as many threes as Isaiah Stewart is a problem. I don't need Stewart shooting threes. It's a nice security blanket knowing that on a pick and pop, if you have 2 seconds left in the shot clock, you're not passing it out to Ben Wallace for 3, but you have something in Isaiah Stewart. I need Bogdanovich shooting the threes. I need Bay shooting the threes. I need Killian shooting the threes. Or excuse me, not Killian. I need Cade shooting the threes, and I need Ivy shooting the threes. And really, my big take on Bogdanovich, just coming full circle here, is he's been great, right? I love what I'm seeing out of Bogey. He's amazing. He honestly, you could argue, is the best player at creating his own shot on our team.
Yes.
I would say that Cade honestly looks a step slow this year. He doesn't have the burst or the athleticism when he gets to the hoop. You see he finishes through contact a lot, but he was always below the defender when he's doing it. You saw last night he would go to the hoop and challenge the center, but he was always underneath and kind of finishing off the glass and in. He's not going over top anyone. So I'm a little concerned there in terms of his explosiveness. And I honestly, personally, I view Cade as more of a small forward. He's an undersized small forward to me with guard-like abilities. And with the whole Bogdanovich and Bay fit, and Bogdanovich playing so well, I love that he's playing well, but if I'm being honest, he's probably not part of the long-term plan. And Weaver had this trick up his sleeve that he was going to use him as a trade asset, because who doesn't like a stretch forward who can shoot at the deadline, right? It's great that Bogdanovich is playing well, but it's really taking away from the long-term goal of Saddiq Bey playing really well, too. And I think last night he was able to kind of get himself involved a little bit better. But I just worry about, okay,
Saddiq is I would agree, Saddiq currently is the odd man out, and I'll turn to Jeff a little bit for this one because, again, there's always ever one basketball on the court, but I think you made a great point, Michael, earlier when you said when it was Livers at the 2 and Cade at the 1, the offense really flowed, and you had Saddiq on the court, and you even had Duren. To me, Casey's just making in-game mistakes, which is you have 2 centers out there basically, in Collins and Capella. Get Duren out there. Yep. Don't pull him out of the game. He's on the court whenever they are. It's that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate this. This isn't a small ball team. It's not a team filled with impeccable shooters. Like I like that Ivy's having a good start to the year from 3. I like that Cade's doing well as well. But at the end of the day, whether he's undersized, I think we both agree he's not uber athletic like in Jaden Ivey was, and that's why Ivey was so attractive at 5 this year. It was the balance of having a Cade Cunningham who kind of plays the game like Luka a little bit in terms of how slow he is, right? You underestimate how athletic Luka is, but it's never high-paced, high-motor, 150 miles an hour with Cade. It's tactical, it's calculated, it's very nonchalant, and this year with all the muscle he's added, I'm sure he's trying to get to the basket more and draw fouls and get easy buckets, but yeah, look, Mike, honestly, great call. Appreciate you coming on. Great job. Well done. Well said. Jeff, I think you agree with him on Bogdanovich for Saddiq, no? I don't think it's an issue personally. I think Saddiq needs to get his head out of his ass. Not in a mean way, but just Saddiq needs to know when it's his time and when it isn't. And whether that's on Casey or the chemistry or it's only 4 games into the season and it's way too early, there's a lot of factors. But I'm not totally sold on the fact that Saddiq is lost at the moment. I just think it's early season struggles.
Right.
And Bogdanovich is the only one who has urgency, I believe, at the moment. He's the one saying, they're on an 11-0 run. What are you doing standing in the corner? Give me the ball. I'm going to attack the basket. I'll get us an easy layup, run your ass down court, and play some defense.
Yep.
That's what Bogdanovich is doing, basically.
And it also helps that he's 30-plus years old. So he's a veteran in this league. And a lot of it is this team figuring things out. I think Saddiq's a big part of that. We talked about it. He's really had one, or now really you could say 2 good games this year. The other games, even the game before this one against Indiana, took like 5 shots for the entire game. So there's still some of that figuring out process with Saddiq Bey. But it's nothing too much positive so far. I expected Saddiq Bey early on to take that jump, but I also didn't expect Bojan to be here. That trade kind of came out of nowhere.
15, 17 shots, good looks, a night from Saddiq.
The question I have is is Bojan taking those opportunities away, which, again, he's making shots.
Too early to tell. I would say no, though. I would say Bojan is...
Because they played well together last night, but Jaden Ivey wasn't there. So those are 15, 16 shots that are available for everybody else. Exactly.
But they'll figure it out.